Hello friends, it's Trevor, it's Avery, it's Pat, it's the citywide special. The Phillies punched their ticket to the postseason with a walk-off win against the Pirates Tuesday night. Who will the Fightins face in the wild card round? Has Aaron Nola finally found his form for the playoffs? Do the Phillies have something special in rookie relief pitcher Orion Kerkering? The Flyers began their preseason Monday night against the New Jersey Devils and were promptly handed their ass in a 6-0 beatdown. What can we expect from the rebuilding squad this upcoming season? The Eagles win again Monday night against the Bucs. Jalen Carter and the defense continue to impress, while DeAndre Swift has another monster game on offense. The Birds face Josh Harris and the Washington Commanders on Sunday. Damian Lillard will not be a Sixer as the longtime Trailblazer is finally traded to the Milwaukee Bucks. Will Daryl Morey make a move for the presumably available Drew Holiday? All that and more coming up right now. How's it going, fellas?
Pretty good. We're halfway through the week again on this fine Wednesday. The sun finally peeked its little nose out, which was good to see. It was rainy for the last, felt like forever. It was only about 4 or 5 days, but
crazy.
Damn, felt good. Feel pretty good. Birds win. Phillies clinch. Sixers didn't implode. So I feel like I'm honestly doing all right.
Yeah, it was really nice to see the sun again. When's the last time we've seen the sun? Friday? Thursday? It's been almost a week.
Last week. Probably the same day last week. It was kind of rainy out all last weekend.
Yeah, it was wash. Missing that vitamin D, man. Was starting to lose the pigmentation in my skin. Damn. But all good here. Yo, are y'all's livers ready for a Phillies postseason run plus the Eagles being undefeated?
He's been waiting. He's ready.
I've been training all year.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, that was brutal last year. I just remember, because it was like, especially once they got to like the World Series, it was just like, weekday night, and I was like I gotta go out. Like it's the World Series. I can't not go out for the World Series. But
and then especially when it was like World Series, it was like postseason games, and you had to they had the winning streak going for the Birds. We had like 7-8 games. So like at that point, it's like, well, I'm already out here. I might as well go Thursday night to watch Eagles play. It means the Phillies have off, and I might as well go back out Friday because we're already at the weekend again.
The Phillies play,
yeah. And then the thing with the Phillies too is that it's like every day. So you're like, well, at least I get to work the hangover out, I guess, and then do it all over again. But it was worth it, man. I mean, it felt good. I wish they picked a different song, though, again. I don't like that they kept the same song.
Yeah, I remember at one point during the middle of the season, they were saying, Dancing on My Own is last year's song. This team needs a new song. And for the longest time, I'm thinking, they're going to pick a new song. Then last night, as soon as they win, I think it was like Harry Kalas singing High Hopes, which is a classic. You have to have that, right?
Yeah.
But then Dancing on My Own comes on, sure enough. I'm thinking, here we go again. At least pick the OG version.
Yeah.
The Robin version.
Yeah.
But right. The license probably costs too much for that one, for them playing it all the time.
But I'll take it. Still feels good to be on top, or at least, Birds are in the high swing. My liver is primed, ready to roll. We've been here before,
I'll tell you where I haven't been before. It had been a while. Was doing 6 shots of 99 bananas in a day.
Yeah, walk us through that real quick.
So shout out Dean, DFOP, dear friend of the pod, as we say. He and I have had this tradition for, Trevor, you were there when the tradition started back in 2013, the Flyers playoff run at Grumpy's.
Yeah.
Tradition has held strong ever since.
I don't participate in it.
You do sometimes.
Yeah,
you do sometimes.
I don't keep a bottle at my house like you guys do.
Yeah, we're degenerates. But anyway, so Sunday I go to the grocery store, go to the liquor store, buy a bottle much like the one on the table of 99 bananas. I already agreed that I would do 2 shots if Johnny Gans and the Arizona Cardinals beat the Cowboys. I had owed 2 shots for the Phillies beating the Mets Friday and Saturday. And then Phillies swept the Mets. Other stuff happened. So here, I'll walk you through it. So get back from the liquor store Sunday afternoon. Do those first 2 shots for the Phillies winning Friday, Saturday. I'm like, all right, it's time to watch some football all day. Got nothing going on. It's miserable out. It was rainy. So first 2 shots go down. I'm sitting there kind of just casually sipping a beer. Then the Cardinals-Cowboys game comes on. And Johnny Gans, shout out Johnny Gans.
Yeah.
Public enemy number one in
favorite
Philly.
guy that we've never said anything bad about.
Yeah. The favorite guy that we love to hate.
Yeah. We love to hate you, but we love to hate the Cowboys more, so thank you. And I had to hold up my end of the bargain and do 2 shots for the Cardinals beating the Cowboys. So now we're at 4. And then later on, the Phillies sweep the Mets. Orion Kirkering makes an electric debut. So that's 2 more. So that puts us at 6 shots in like a 12-hour span. Then the next day, Birds play. They win. Tradition. Philly sports team wins. Got to do at least a shot. I didn't really feel like drinking too much that night, but I had to celebrate. So do another shot. That is 7 shots of 99 bananas in a 36-hour span. And then last night, told myself, there's no way in hell I'm drinking. But
Had to do
Phillies win. They clinch the number 1 seed in the wild card. Had to do another shot of 99 bananas. So 8 shots of 99 bananas in 60 hours. Probably some sort of world record. Don't quote me on that, but I like to think it might be. And here we are. So bottle's already halfway gone. I'll probably need to get a new one soon.
I was saying, just like that, you need another bottle.
Yep.
We could have gone out and gotten some free ones last night if we were.
Yeah, we could have joined in.
Yeah, did you guys get any stuff last night at Lululemon? Or the Apple Store?
Wine and Spirits. They shut down all
the
stores today. Yeah.
At first I didn't realize what had happened, the reason for the looting. I thought, oh damn, people are excited that the Phillies clinched.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for my ignorance. I was just so wrapped up in the Phillies clinching, I didn't know what else was going on.
Yeah, unfortunate circumstances for why everything happened, but then, damn. But, well, good to see that we're all back in one piece. You don't look too banged up after having so many shots of banana, so that's also kudos to your liver, who seems pretty primed and ready to go for a good deep postseason run.
It's getting there.
Yeah. But, yeah, man, we're ready to rock. Feels pretty good. Everyone's been winning. I think Phillies are at least tied right now as we speak, so.
Yeah, the hangover game. I guess we could start out with some Phils or the,
Might as well start with the hot hand with the Phillies.
Yeah. I mean, clinching, I think that deserves the number one segment of the pod here.
Postseason is upon us as a lock, which is great to see. I think he touched on the beginning. Nola, how do we feel? Is he ready to be?
2 good games in a row. I mean, I think they're saying his last 2 games, he's had something like 12 innings pitched.
Yeah, I got the statistics here.
It was like 16 Ks, 3 walks or some shit like that.
So this is his last 3 starts I grabbed, because even his start prior to the last 2 wasn't awful. So his last 3 starts, 0-0, all no decisions, but I think
can't do anything about that. Yeah.
We've won 2 out of those last 3 starts anyway. Yeah. 17 and a third innings pitched, 17 hits, just 1 walk, which is great. You love to see that. 5 earned runs, I think 1 home run, 17 Ks.
Not bad.
Yeah, that's.
So he got 9 last night?
8. Yeah, he had 8 last night. And 8 against the Braves to start before. And I think that's the important thing.
Yeah.
Is that 1 start came against the Braves when they still had something to play for, kind of. And
big time.
He shut them down. So, feel pretty good. Cautiously optimistic. But I think right now he's a perfectly serviceable number 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think at this point you kind of have to... You don't want to screw around with the order of the pitchers and have people getting in their heads about stuff. Aaron Nola's been our... one of our aces for years. So I think he's, especially how he's pitched lately, I think he's definitely earned that number 2 slot and going into the playoffs.
Good to see his, also last night was his 4th or 5th season in a row with 200 plus strikeouts.
Yeah, I think it was his 5th. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the guy. I get it. We were hard on him, but you're the hardest on your, most potentially, high performer players or, students, whatever have you, if you're a teacher or whatnot, you always are a little bit more hard on the guys that that can perform better than what they gave you throughout the regular season. And it was good. He made a comment maybe a month ago and he was like, we're just trying to get to the postseason. We know what we got to do. And I feel like since then, maybe it was like August he said that, he's really kicked it into a gear. And, again, cautiously optimistic. This team's really big word that we've been putting on them all year has been consistency, and I get that that's a whole sports thing and all that, but I feel like this team especially has been we're not going to be the Braves where we're just kind of riding high all the time and our bats can get us through games where, Nola has proven over this last stretch that he can keep the team in the game. I'd rather have the pitcher keep us in the game and let the bats wake up than have it be a neck and neck shootout hit game and have it be a bullpen game where Nola seems to be like, okay, seems more comfortable on the mound. He's gelling. I think that's a lot too to JT having some time off as well here and there, letting Stubbs get more play in over these last couple of months to kind of give JT a little bit of rest and get comfortable again back there. But yeah, it feels good having Nola being at least on the upswing coming into the postseason as opposed to like, wow, he did great all year and now he's kind of faltering or he threw too many 100-pitch games or whatever have you. His arm looks fresh and he looks... coming
into the form at the right time, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. So it feels good that way, at least from the Nola standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, I guess other pitchers... How about Chris Sanchez, dude?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was dealing the other night.
Yeah. Not bad.
Like, I know last pod we said that Ranger would be our pick. We said for number 2, but Thompson's already announced that Nola's going to be the number 2. Ranger, I know it was the hangover game, and he was probably a little banged up last night. Didn't look great today. Would you pitch Chris Sanchez number 3?
No. I think I still go Ranger. I think that, Sanchez he'll have an opportunity, if you go up in a longer series. I think, 5-7 game series, you're up 2 or whatever, maybe you put him in there, but I think Ranger solidified it. Also, you don't want to this isn't the time to kind of mess around with shit or egos and stuff like that. Pitchers are pretty much like divas in the world of baseball where you don't want to get too much in their head.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I think Ranger is like that at all, but I think that consistency again is good to have Ranger. He knows his spot. He knows what the deal is. You get him in there. I think that'll be all right to keep him at 3. Sanchez, he's done well. I don't think he's done enough to be a postseason number 3 guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's nice to have a guy like that who could potentially be. I mean, hopefully you don't need this during the playoffs, but a potential long man out of the bullpen, God forbid someone gets knocked around and the second inning has to get taken out, but I mean also in the playoffs you have a much shorter leash. It's good to just have
it's a good spot
more
to
than
be
enough
in.
Guys in the bullpen that can give you serviceable innings.
Good spot to be in for the Phillies bullpen. No knock on that.
Yeah,
but I think that Ranger is our guy at 3.
I do think if it comes to a 4th starter, the way Taijuan Walker would kind of just get buried in the 1st or 2nd inning.
Yeah.
I'd rather see
Scary.
Chris Sanchez if you need a 4th starter.
Yeah. 4, that's
Taijuan
fine.
Walker
Now
kinda
we're
scares
talking.
me.
Yeah.
Now we're talking. Walker is, when he's hot, he's hot. When he's cold, he's cold. There's no real in-between with that guy. So that I'm fine with. I would be curious, to see as this stretch comes out. You wrap up the Pirates coming up. You got, one last series with the Mets, which means nothing. You really want to see what you got with Lorenzen, have him out there and hopefully knock some rust off and see what he can do, even coming in at the end of games and stuff like that. But he's really had a true fall from grace.
Yeah.
I mean,
he did look good the other night coming out of the bullpen.
Yeah. I mean, better than
we'll see.
That was his best game since the no.
Yeah.
But that's not enough to really be confident. I don't feel like if he goes in the game, I'm like, and you're playing teams, postseason is a different animal. You're at home, I get it for some of them,
Mm-hmm.
and that's okay. But him on the road, I don't know. It's a shame. I mean, I wish he was better like that and more reliable. But I feel like that no was his World Series, and that's what it's looking like.
Yeah, I mean, the no-no, that was probably one of the pinnacles of the season, quite frankly. That was right around the start of Trey Turner's hot streak.
Yep.
And since then, Lorenzen's definitely had a precipitous fall from grace. But at the same time, he looked good the other night. He's pitched out of the bullpen a lot in his career. A lot of that was not high leverage because he was with Cincinnati and Detroit and some other mediocre team. So, he hasn't pitched in a playoff game in a high leverage situation out of the pen. So, yeah, I think probably give him some chances here against the Mets. Maybe tomorrow against the Pirates. Maybe even tonight as we speak he's pitching. Who knows? But see if he can really be an asset out of the pen. He's probably your long reliever between him and Sanchez. You probably figure it out, righty or lefty, depending on the matchups.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you'd like to think he can give you something just because you traded for this guy to be a component and a piece of the team. But we'll see. he looked good. You know who else looked good? Orion Kerkering, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, shout out to him. Welcome to the Phillies right there.
Yeah,
that was a
quite a debut.
Great debut. I love when they always do the pan-backs too, like the family when they're there for the first game.
Yeah,
and the dad just absolutely a butterball mess every strikeout. I mean, love to see it,
Butterball is a good term. My man does, no disrespect to him. He kind of looks like a butterball.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was true to it. I wasn't talking any lies there. I'm sure he's a great guy. No, not just. It was good to see. It's nice to see people's family watching their kid play. You can imagine them being, little league or t-ball and being just as emotional or happy when they win a really non-important game when they're little. But to see your kid grow up and do that in a meaningful game has got to be amazing. And hopefully he can keep that up and have another meaningful moment like that in the postseason.
Yeah, great name, by the way. Orion Kerkering.
That's
Orion's an awesome name.
Yeah, that's a fucking sick athlete name. But yeah, I mean, dude, the guy's stuff is just wild. That slider is,
it's like Brad Lidge-esque.
That's what it reminded me.
Yeah,
that's what it reminded me of. I was thinking that, and I was like, am I just saying that because he's like a better Philly or something? But it's like, nah, that dip it has is just it looks like unhittable. And he can throw it for strikes, which is wild.
Yeah, like Lidge, yeah.
That first batter he had, I think he started him off with 4 straight sliders.
Yep.
Just dropping him in for strikes. His walk to strikeout ratio in the minors was unreal. So yeah, I mean, it's a guy who's normally you would think a guy who is a stuff guy, who has just really nasty pitches. It's usually walks come with that.
Yeah,
part
big
of the
time.
territory.
Because they missed a play or someone gets a bad call or you goes in the dirt.
But it's this guy could just fucking drop him right in there. I mean, he had one of his, I think it was his second strikeout. He just struck the guy out on 3 pitches. I think he started him off with a 100-mile-an-hour fastball right on the corner, and then he just drops a slider right at the bottom of the zone, just bam, right on the fucking paint.
Yep, like a
This
dart.
is God damn, this is ridiculous. And then threw another slider inside. The guy just looked like a moron trying to swing at it. But yeah, I mean, this is a guy who started out in low A, made it all the way to the majors.
It's wild.
That almost never happens. And honestly, I mean, it remains to be seen. He's only had, I feel like he'll probably get into the game tonight, but he's only had 1 appearance so far. But honestly, he looks like he might be one of the top 2-3 bullpen arms we have. I mean, next to Alvarado, I don't know if there's anyone else I'd rather have in a high level situation.
Well, I think the key is that he hasn't been seen too, right? So
yeah, they don't have a scouting report.
Yeah, no one can see him, and honestly, playing the Braves kind of up against the postseason is a blessing and a curse because it gets the team ready to go against their pitchers, but then they also see our shit, so it's kind of close that way. But if you can pull someone out of the bullpen like that out of nowhere, that's good. That's great for us that way because our bats go toe to toe with Atlanta. To be honest, when we play them,
right, Yeah.
So they know our stuff, we know their stuff. They can read Nola like a book. So hoping that he can get his shit together when we play the Braves. But if you get a guy like that in your back pocket, that is worth its weight in gold, to be honest, when you get down that stretch. So I think that was a great sign from him. Hopefully he keeps it going. But I think that could be a really big wild card factor for us because our bats are fine.
Yeah.
You don't need anybody to be the savior. It was always is it Harper or last year with Hoskins and all that. Now our bats, they're all hitting, knock on wood, decently well. They're all consistent that way. You pull this wild card out now as a pitcher, that's what you want. That's what you need in the playoffs to make a deep run.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like every team that makes deep runs in the playoffs. I mean, you look at that Astros team last year; their bullpen is always it's just a murderer's row.
Every guy throws 100. Yeah.
And you couldn't stop them.
And I remember going into this season thinking that was going to be one of our big strengths because we pick up Soto, and you figure you have Alvarado,
Kimbrel,
and Sir Anthony has been not great this year, and it's this whole idea that we were gonna have this great bullpen is kind of falling apart.
You had Painter in the background, he'll come up at some point,
And then it was the perfect thing to just have by the way, we have this fucking guy who's just been in the minors all year who's
coming out of left field,
throws fucking gas. So I'm excited about. I think he's gonna get some meaningful innings in the playoffs for sure.
Yeah, I think that was kind of the idea of calling him up in time, right? They called him up in time for eligibility.
Just in time for him to be on the roster,
because Matt Gelb on his podcast that he does in June I remember him talking about Orion Kirkering, and I'm thinking, who the hell is this guy? What should I know about him?
Yeah.
So then I started looking him up and like saw a couple videos of him pitching. I was just like, damn, this dude is disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, he was just drafted, 14 months ago?
Yeah, last year. It's wild.
Yeah.
And to see him come up, just throw gas like that, it's unbelievable. Throwing 100 with the movement on his fastball as well.
Throwing his slider like 88 or something.
It's ridiculous.
Youthfulness too, which is nice to see. It's good to see some young bucks coming up in there. But also, I feel like there's no, at least in my opinion, there's no prettier pitch than a nice, well executed slider. I love that is like coming across the plate like that, watching him swing, and there's no chance they can hit it. It's a beautiful, like you said, watching Brad Lidge in his prime. That year when he had 52 saves. Or whatever it was, 45, some ridiculous number.
I think it was 48, including the playoffs that year.
Then he cut the mole off and lost all that juju. But, I mean, the slider is just when done well, it's a beautiful pitch. And it's great to see him come up there and execute that way at that level. Yeah,
so I got a nugget for y'all about Kirkering. You're going to get a kick out of this. Or it's actually pretty crazy. So this is from Matt Gelb. He published this article after Kirkering's debut, just talking about his rise from just like Little League all the way up to the majors. So his dad's name is Todd, and this is an excerpt from the article. Todd knew his son was a good player when he was in high school. He ditched the curveball to throw the slider he throws now. He gained strength and velocity and confidence. He played for the Florida Burn, a major travel program, and one of his teammates was Braden Halliday. Roy Halliday.
Damn.
Roy Halliday was a volunteer pitching coach.
Wow.
While Orion was with the Burn, he shook off his catcher and threw the pitches he wanted. A Burn coach suggested to Todd that this might not sit well with Orion's high school coach once he left the travel team. What's Roy say? Todd asked. He doesn't care, the coach said. He wants him to throw with conviction. If he wants to shake them off, he shakes them off. Last week, when Orion was promoted to the majors, a Florida Burn coach named Josh Sinibaldi texted Todd to congratulate him. He said to me that after one of the first bullpens that Orion threw with Roy said he would make it to the majors.
Wow.
Damn.
Todd said, but they never told me that, and I'm good with that. I'm good. So Roy Halladay, a Phillies legend, man, says that he's his pitching coach in high school. Says he's going to make it to the majors. That's bonkers.
To be in the same sentence as that guy, you got some high, that's no knock on you right there, If that guy sees something in you, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, so I was blown away. It's just like, wow, it's come full circle. Here he is pitching for us in the playoffs.
For the Phillies, nonetheless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just thought that was really interesting. It's a great story. Kind of reminds me of, the whole Kirkering story kind of reminds me of when the Rays called up David Price. Mm-hmm. The year we played them in the playoffs, just this unknown minor league arm that everyone heard about. It just came in and was just nasty. Mm-hmm. Kind of the same concept. Now, if, unlike the Rays, he can deliver for us and we can win the World Series,
we'll take it.
Great.
Yeah. Now he gets up there and gets demolished in the playoffs. He'll
be like David Price, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it feels good. I think that they definitely have the city back behind them, which is good to see. So the Phils made the postseason. The Eagles are undefeated. The same energy is here. I think we're feeling the same thing. We're on our end. We're good to go. We're Buck. We're ready to go and support this team. They just have to execute, and they have the pieces to do it. There's no we skidded into the postseason last year and we caught lightning in a bottle or whatever it was. This year, there was expectations. It started off slow. You had the Harper injury, Turner's slow slump a little bit here and there. Bullpen was a little banged up and not really consistent. The pieces now are coming together. You got Rojas hitting balls, getting us into the postseason. You got Kirkering coming up here, surprising us all as a bullpen arm. I think that they're in a good spot, and I think that we're going to see a pretty surprising team in the postseason in a different way than last year. I think the wins are going to be more convincing wins than they were. You won't have to have that magical moment where Harper hits a 3-run home run at the bottom of the 9th or bottom of the 8th, whatever, which I love to see. I'm here for it, but I think that this team is ready to just dominate in the right time.
Yeah. I think going into this wild card series, I'm feeling pretty good. Right now, it's looking like we'll play the Diamondbacks. There's an outside chance we play the Cardinals and the Marlins. Do y'all have any preference?
You mean the Cubs?
Oh, the Cubs. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm thinking of Johnny Gans. Johnny Gans, always on the mind, man.
Yeah.
First time in 30 years that there's no Cardinals, Red Sox, or Yankees in the postseason.
Good.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, hey.
Great times we're in right now.
But yeah, who would y'all rather see out of the Cubs, Marlins, or D-backs? Right now, like I said, it's probably going to be the D-backs.
D-backs.
Yeah.
D-backs, 100%.
I mean, I guess
Really?
like the Cubs have been kind of on the downswing.
That's what I'm saying.
They were really hot for a while there, but then they kind of, fell down to earth, and seems like it'd be a better time to get them. But I mean, I don't know. I don't really care. I'm not afraid of either of those teams.
If anything, I'm most afraid of the Marlins just because they seem to have our number.
Yeah.
I don't want the Marlins. Give me the D-backs.
Alcantara's done, right?
Yeah, but something about them, they just always get up for us, and we usually play down to the level of competition against them.
God, that would be...
Imagine getting a...
It's so brutal. Oh my God, I don't even want to think about that.
Give me the Diamondbacks. I don't want Cubs, whatever. Marlins, I'm with you. That just has bad juju written all over it, to be honest with you. I don't like that at all. I think Diamondbacks are what we all should want, to be honest. Cubbies might be on a downturn right now, but we saw how hot they got before.
That's true.
Another somewhat big market team right there. Like, I don't want that. Give me the Diamondbacks that aren't used to this shit, and
that's true.
Coming into Philly, come on now. We played them not too long ago, but we did fairly well against them, so give me Arizona.
Yeah, I think I mostly would...
Also, fuck Gannon. It's the same thing. So, like, if it also be the same, then we could do
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's that Arizona hate. It carries over for other sports, too. I'm still saying the Cubs just because, yes, they are on the downswing. Also, their rotation is awful. Mm-hmm. Like, the Diamondbacks, they're probably going to have to pitch their two top pitchers, Zach Gallen, who's a South Jersey guy, basically a Philly guy. He's a Pennsauken guy. And
same thing.
Merrill Kelly, who pitched in the World Baseball Classic, who put up numbers in the World Baseball Classic. So, yeah, they're probably going to have to pitch those guys to make it to the playoffs. But on the off chance they clinch early enough that they don't have to throw both of those guys, those two guys scare me at the top of a rotation. Whereas the Cubs, yeah, they have Justin Steele, who's like going to get some Cy Young votes. He's probably not going to win. But after him, their rotation is Marcus Stroman, who's been hurt much of the year, and Kyle Hendricks, who's the modern days Jamie Moyer, who throws like 80 miles per hour, who doesn't really scare me.
Yeah.
I think you'd like to have a good bullpen, though, that you face. If all goes the way it looks like it's going, we're going to end up playing the Braves if we get out of this first series, which we should. I'd rather have at least a decent bullpen to face as opposed to a shitty bullpen, because then your batters are ready to go, seeing some good gas. Now, I get it. The Braves have some guys on
the Braves are kind of...
they're a little banged up, and I get that. But I'd rather have a test in the wild card round than walk on by and then, feel like you're hot shit and then go into the, NLDS or whatever it is. But I think that, give us some gas. There's nobody... Marlins, nothing on that team scares me. It's just the fact that something about, like you said, you play the Marlins and they just don't play well against them. The Cubs, okay, they got a shitty bullpen. Their bats could heat up here and there. I get that. Give me the Diamondbacks because their bats don't scare me. Their fielding isn't that great. Their pitching is decent. I'd rather have our bats stay awake and play them. Have a meaningful at-bat every time to keep alert so you don't slip up on that. Because you got the Braves also. It's going to be tough if we get there, looking ahead here. But, that's my thought process.
It's fair. I mean, honestly, I don't think it really matters too much. The important thing is that we're going to be at home. Mm-hmm. And the Cubs...
in and of itself is huge.
The Cubs have a little more playoff experience, but at the same time, I don't know. I don't think it really matters. We're going to be juiced. We're going to be amped. Team's going to come in with a lot of momentum.
Yeah.
Whereas whoever we play will end up having just backed in. So we should be in good shape regardless.
Cool. Well, I guess that just about wraps up on the Phils. So going from that to the opposite, I guess we could check in real quick on the Flyers.
Oh man, okay.
The professional hockey team that plays in Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Flyers, started the postseason. Obviously, none of us.
Preseason.
The preseason, yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Might as well be the regular season, yeah.
Yeah, but the preseason started Monday. Obviously, I don't think anyone aside from any like real hockey sickos watched this game because it was going on the same time as the Eagles, but they got shellacked pretty bad. I guess it was Cal Peterson
yeah,
started the game.
4 goals in like 10 minutes.
Looked like Swiss cheese. Yeah, I mean, I can't really comment too much on the game because I haven't even watched highlights or anything of it. I don't even know if there are highlights.
I mean, when you lose 6-0, you can't really have any.
Yeah, I don't know if there's really much to. I mean, I guess
Well,
Sean Couturier was on the ice for the first time in a while.
Woo!
Obviously, very rusty. You know, not too much to say there. I mean, I guess it's this whole situation with Atkinson's sort of up in the air.
Bizarre.
He's like was out because of some kind of soreness, apparently unrelated to the neck surgery.
I think they claimed it was lower body soreness.
Right. Okay.
Right.
And I guess
which could be anything. I mean, that's
so that's
vague.
the thing. Yeah, that's
hockey
that's
injuries.
Hockey.
Yeah,
it's just anything above the waist, or is it below the waist? Is the only information you get about injuries. Yeah. Unless they obviously got a concussion or something.
Probably that Tort workout. He's like, I'm too old for that.
Oh, Torts was working him, dude.
Yeah, he's probably just beat.
Yeah, there were a couple guys saying
I think someone threw up.
Could barely make it through the workout. I think it was either Owen Tippett or Cam York. Torts was like, yeah, I could tell he was struggling. I gave him a stip tap just because I basically felt bad for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
good to see him back out there, I guess.
Yeah, as far as Couturier goes, that's really exciting for him to be out, just because. I still think Sean Couturier has something left in the tank, even at 30, 31.
Yeah,
hockey
just
guys
starting
play surprisingly long, though. They have a good longevity to them.
Yeah, in his
dude, Yager's still playing.
Yeah, I saw that.
52.
No
he's
way.
He's still playing professional hockey.
Let's bring his bitch ass back.
He could probably play third or fourth line center for this team right now. Let's be honest.
That was the last time this team was fun. Was when that
was great, dude.
I fucking love Yager.
The Yager, Giroux, Hartnell line. Yeah, that was sick.
Love Yager.
But as far as Couturier goes, I'm excited to see him back, just because I think he's got something left. His game, to your point, Pat, hockey players can play a long time as long as their game isn't predicated on speed, which he's always been kind of a slow skater.
Yeah, he ain't.
He's not the slowest, but he's
not
Connor McDavid. You know what I mean?
Blazing.
No.
So although no one's Connor McDavid, but you get the point. But his game's more predicated on positioning, smarts, and just skill. And I think that'll age well. Is he a part of the next good Flyers team? Maybe as a third or fourth line center. But either way, he can kind of show some of these young guys the ropes, get them acclimated to the city, get them acclimated to just Philadelphia, just life in the NHL. So is it good? Yeah, I think it'll be good for the younger players. At the same time, I think he wins us a couple games and kind of hurts us in the standings, which isn't the best. But
yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think they're going to be pretty fucking bad.
Oh, they will be. But
they have another chance at another top 5 pick for sure. Just because, I mean, even if you consider Couturier and assuming Atkinson gets back, that defense is bad.
Yeah,
bad.
It's even it was bad last year, and they traded away Provorov, so they just there's really not a whole lot going on back there to stop the other team from scoring.
Well, thank God we signed 8 goalies this year, so you're going to see a good rotation back in there.
Exactly.
Yeah, when Carter Hart gets caught in the Hockey Canada stuff, we'll need a couple goalies to fill in.
Yeah.
But yeah, talking about Atkinson, I don't know how many games he plays. He's older, he's 34?
Yeah, it seems like they're going to not play him a ton, whether he's healthy or not. So.
Yeah, so if he ends up having to sit for just vague lower body soreness, good. He won't win us a couple games. That'll help us in the standings. But Torts did have this interesting quote talking about, this is actually about Mark Stahl last week when he met with the media. And I guess it kind of relates to Atkinson, another veteran player that we don't really want or need to play that much. But anyway, Torts said, this is what he said to Stahl. As I stated to him, he's not going to get in the way of us developing the kids. There's going to be some nights he's not going to play, but he's going to be just as important in those nights and those days leading up to games that he's maybe not playing in than he is putting the uniform on. So he's kind of embraced a rebuild.
Yeah.
In this article, I can't find it right now. This is a Charlie O'Connor article for All City PHLY, whatever the new thing is. He also has a quote in there somewhere where he's talking about last year, And he essentially says, I was down for a rebuild before anyone else.
Yeah.
It's like it was those morons at the front office that wanted us to keep playing these guys that...
Hello, we all were on board on that, yeah.
So I think it's cool to see that Torts has embraced it. At first, I think there was a pod probably last spring where we said, I don't think he lasts another year.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe he does get tired of coaching a really bad team, and that's still the case. But it won't be because he doesn't want to rebuild. He's clearly committed to it.
Yeah. Well, if you think that there's signs of hope and direction from the front office and you coaching, then that's one thing. I think last year, like you were saying, he was caught in the middle of that, where I think this year now he sees like, okay, fine, like Briere, they cleaned house of all the old guys that were all like, oh, this is the Flyers way, all this old shit. They took out a lot of those old heads. Towards like, all right, fine, we'll see what happens this year. If they give me free reign to run my team the way I want it to run, we're not going to win games just to win games here. Obviously, I mean, whatever they decide to do. But a rebuild is a tall task to undertake as a guy that's used to winning. But if he's on board with it, you can see the future picks that you didn't get to play this year with the Russian guy and all this other shit coming in here. You know, give him a year or two if he can stick with it. The team, as every Philly team does, they stick with their coaches and their team through everything. So if we get a guy like Tort that wants to just embrace that, I'm here for it. But if he starts to go and we start going up, you're just asking for another fucking shit show, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
He needs to stay for at least another year, at least 2 years, to be honest.
I mean, it sounds like he's going to be... like we were talking about this before last time, but it sounds like they have plans for him to be part of the organization going forward. Even when he's done coaching, he'll probably take on some kind of like, special advisor,
VP of player ops or some shit like that. Yeah.
So, it sounds like he'll be around for a while. How long he stays the head coach, who knows?
I mean, as everything you've seen in Philly sports, if you're the guy that's stuck around the longest and has at least built some kind of credit and has helped build something, the city will put a fucking statue up you on Broad Street if you want to. Like that's if he can commit to that and he's got the right attitude and mindset of a Philly style coach that we love.
Oh, for sure.
So
he's Philly as hell, dude.
I think that if we could just give him a taste of what it feels like to be supported, not like the Flyers are not for nothing. The diehard Flyer fans are cut of a different cloth. Like they're a different breed. They're out there. Them tailgates are weird. The people are a little off. It's fine. I love it. We're all Phillies. Like I love it. But at the same time, give them something to look forward to besides just draft picks that don't play for 3 years.
Yeah.
Which you can only see after 2 years now because you're going to have all these top draft picks that won't play for 2 or 3 years.
Well, speaking of top draft picks, I guess the last little bit of Flyers update is the whole Matvei Mishkov situation, which is a little odd. So KHL season starts. He's with SKA St. Petersburg, the SKA team, and then gets scratched 3 out of 4 games. I think the one game he played in, he was only on the ice for about 6 minutes, and then they sent him out to loan to Sochi, which I guess is the team that I think he was also loaned out last year. I guess there's been like some sort of speculation of exactly why this is. It's interesting because I guess apparently from what I've heard, like they've actually been struggling to score that team, and it's like, well, maybe you should have kept the guy who's
you
like
would think,
scores fucking goals left and right. But and there's been all this like, is this sort of some kind of they're just getting back at him because they don't like the fact that he wants to go to the NHL? Is this just because like their coach just doesn't like playing young guys?
Isn't their coach cool with Putin?
I think they're like kind of a Putin.
It's Russia. It's the Russian Hockey League. Well, like, what the fuck did we
expect?
expect?
Their coach in particular is like cool with Putin. I'm pretty sure.
Boys.
What did we expect? I mean, we saw this shit coming. So hear me out, right? If I'm not seeing this right. So the guy that we signed that lives in Russia, plays for the Russian league, can't get him for another year or two. For some reason, Russia is mad, for obvious reasons, I guess, are now just jerking this kid around. He won't really see a lot of ice time. My thinking is they're going to get him all fucked up on that Russian vodka, have him just sit around the bench, 6 minutes here, 7 minutes here, go to Sochi, go to St. Petersburg, go to fucking Siberia, not play, just sit around, get all fat and happy. They're fucking with us.
Yeah,
That's
well,
what
he's
they're doing.
Playing like 20 minutes a night now.
Yeah,
with Sochi, so like he's getting his ice time.
He'll stay in shape. 20. I mean, for him, he should be playing 30 minutes.
He better be
easy,
skating to the rink on ice. He
Yeah.
better be skating everywhere on ice. He better be getting himself in big time shape.
Well, here's the other theory. Well, since it is St. Petersburg is the SKA team, then maybe maybe Mishkov is like more of like a third wave guy, and the coaching staff are like more like trad rock
They're two-tone guys.
They're
dude.
like they're two-tone, traditional old Jamaican style ska guys. Like fucking Mishkov showed up to training camp wearing a Real Big Fish t-shirt. They're just like they're all like shaking. Their coach is like you cannot simply add horn section to pop punk band and call this ska music.
So what? They sent away because
Mishkov,
They saw a Spotify place. They were like,
yeah, Mishkov he wanted to change their goal song to like a Streetlight Manifesto song.
Yeah, Mishkov, he demands less than Jake be played at all practices.
Oh,
just like, dude, I can't skate to this. There is not enough tempo to this music.
Yeah, it's like Prince Buster, Desmond Decker, Scotalites. Mishkov has heard of none of these.
Oh man. Yeah, I hope that's what's going on here.
Yeah, Putin shows up to their games wearing like those like checkered Vans. They got the pork pie hats, and like the whole team shows up to the you show up to games wearing like the nice clothes, the suits and stuff.
The game
they're all that team all just shows up wearing like the Fred Perry polos.
Oh my
with the suspenders and like the pork pie hats.
Some of them show them just black suits, white shirts with a skinny black tie.
Yeah, skinny ties.
Man.
The shoes, the whole fucking thing.
Yeah, Michkov ain't down with the Rue boys, apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, who can blame him? I mean, he's Gen Z? Yeah, he's not listening to music from the 80s, 70s.
It's Russia. He may be.
Who knows? Yeah, there's so much I don't know about Russian culture, but I do know that Michkov definitely would be a less than Jake fan.
Yeah.
I don't know how I know that, but trust me, I know.
Well, I guess that just about it's about all there is.
Yo, hold up. One more thing about the Flyers.
Thing?
They're doing all these Wells Fargo Center renovations, trying to be all bougie.
Mm-hmm.
They released their promotional schedule. No dollar dog night. What the hell's up with that?
Damn.
I was looking forward to it. That was probably going to be one of the few Flyers games I would have gone to.
Right?
Fucked up.
And what's up with these renovations? Why are you doing this?
Well, the one renovation I thought was...
they're just trying to keep up with... they're putting all those screens on the outside.
Just the lights I saw, too.
Who's going to be walking by the sports complex like, let me watch this on a screen? It's all the way down there.
Yeah, they're just trying to spruce it up, make it look fancy.
They're like, please don't leave us. That's all they're doing.
Yeah, they need that Sixers revenue. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. Promotion, I mean, they...
I like a dollar dog night now, though.
We all do, you know what I mean? But they don't know what to... They ain't got it right. That's why it should be owned by more of the Sixers franchise than it is the Flyers. They'd be doing it right.
Well, the Sixers ownership's pretty shoddy. I mean, this kind of leads us into talking about the Sixers or the Eagles next.
Yeah, I guess
we can do the Sixers,
Yeah, that'll be quick.
We can save the good stuff for the end.
Yeah. The Sixers, this isn't bad news, but yeah, Trevor, you were saying Dame Lillard, you said in the open. Yeah, we got an update on the Dame Lillard situation. He got traded to the Milwaukee Bucks.
To the Bucks, who we face off
on the opening night. Yeah, and who's our biggest competition in the Eastern Conference, arguably, along with the Celtics.
Yeah.
So, from the Bucks' perspective, I think they made the trade just because Giannis was saying all that stuff in the offseason.
He was ready to roll.
Yeah, if you don't show me that you're committed to winning, I'm not signing an extension here.
Right. He wants to win.
So,
which rightfully so. He's already won, back-to-back MVPs. He's like, you know what? I proved it myself, and they beat fucking Milwaukee. The dude comes from Greece. Milwaukee? Come on. Now, you're in the most beautiful country in the world, and you go to Milwaukee, and you do all that. You're good to go.
Yeah.
Even Kareem left. He couldn't do it.
Right, yeah. But, yeah, so... He kind of put the pressure on them to make a move.
And they did. Honestly, good on them for doing that shit.
They're going to be really good.
Yeah, meanwhile, Embiid's giving hints that he might leave, and it's like, how about another year of Montrezl Harrell?
How about 6 backup centers?
How does that intrigue you?
Yeah.
don't want to leave here, would you?
Well, to be fair though, he's only won one MVP, and didn't
Right, he's not as much.
He's not
as
Giannis,
much of a position
like
to.
not for nothing. Like there was always like the Giannis and Embiid. Like I would take Giannis and love Embiid to death, but
Yeah, Embiid's
if
solidly
I'm a franchise owner, I'm taking Giannis all day.
Yeah, he's right now solidly the third best player in the NBA behind Jokic and Giannis.
I mean, the dude's health is always good. That's a big factor. That's the big separator between
I wouldn't say
Giannis.
Giannis is healthy. I mean,
This is his issues.
This season, sure.
the last couple seasons.
But not the one that he won MVP 2 times in a row and then won a championship. We never had that 3-year stretch of Embiid's always been hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, freak injuries mostly, but yeah.
Doesn't matter. That's all I'm saying.
But I mean, at the end of the day, as far as this trade is concerned, I mean, the one thing that you have to think is in the trade, Drew Holiday goes to Portland. Our boy,
He's
the guy
pissed.
that we traded to start the process.
He should come back.
Yeah.
That's
He's pissed.
That's what people want.
The day after he said that I will always be a Buck, it's in my blood. I love being a Buck. The next day, they ship his ass out.
Yeah,
He can't be happy.
that's the business of the NBA.
Mhm.
But so obviously the Sixers are in on it. A bunch of teams, I'm sure, probably are. I mean, who wouldn't want an all-star, all defensive caliber, proven playoff performing point guard? But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think there is any chance at all that the Sixers somehow make this work and get him back?
I think they could. I mean, I don't really know exactly what they have to offer at this point, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, it would be great. Him, Maxey and Embiid. I like that.
I think Maury made a good comment at the beginning of the offseason or maybe midway through. And he was like, listen, obviously we would be better off with Harden. He said, but if we don't have Harden, we have options. And whether that's this year or next year, there's a lot of free agents hitting the field next year in the offseason. But he's looking toward the future. And if you figure you lose one all-star, former MVP in Harden, if he doesn't come back, we don't know still. Obviously, he could come back and surprise us all and be whatever. But if your focus now is all on keeping Embiid happy because he's clearly devoted to the team, you put in maybe not a, internet breaking trade or anything like that, but you've added some pieces, as big or small as they may be, or inconsequential. That's fine. But I think that Murray has some tricks up his sleeve that he's ready to unleash, and I would not be surprised if they bring in Drew Holiday. As like you said, he started the process, he went away, won a championship, now he's an all-star, great defensive player, all this and that. Clearly is not going to be happy being traded after making that statement that he wants to be committed to the Bucs. So I think that he could, of all teams to go to, why not go to the Sixers? He's got no loyalty to really anybody else. Yeah. And the city would embrace, it would be PR, it would be a PR fucking fireworks show. They would love it. They would eat it up.
Yeah, I mean, for him it'd be a great move to still be on a contender in the Eastern Conference, and he'd get to stick it to his old team.
Exactly.
Which would have to be pretty fun for him.
Yeah.
And Trevor, to your point, him and Maxey would be an awesome backcourt.
Mm-hmm.
Drew can kind of he's not as good as Harden, at least certainly not offensively. I'm not going to sit here and pretend he's as good as Harden, but he can moonlight and do a lot of the same things. He's a bigger guard. He's got a jump shot. He can shoot a three. He can set guys up. He can run a fast break. He can do a lot of that stuff. He's not nearly as talented as a passer.
You can get the ball on the other side of the court in less than 20
for
seconds.
sure. Yeah.
Come on now. Yeah.
But then defensively, I mean, the guy's a monster.
Yeah.
It's a big guard. He can guard 1 through 3, probably 1 through 4, depending on the night. And he's done it in the playoffs. He's won a championship. I would love to see it happen. I don't know what the Sixers give up. I don't really understand what you do. What I have written down in my notes is there's some sort of framework for a 3-team deal where the Sixers send Harden to LA to the Clippers.
Right. I feel like that
the
would
Clippers
have to be part
send
of
picks
this,
and
so.
filler to Portland because Portland's looking for picks and filler for their young roster. Then they send Drew back to Philly. Drew and Harden's salaries are basically the same. They're around $36 million each, give or take. So the money would work. It's just, are all 3 parties involved agreeable to it? I would think so, but
I don't see why
I think a lot of it depends on what the Clippers are willing to do.
I don't see why they wouldn't be. It makes sense. You get a big 3 in LA. Harden's happy, fat and happy. I mean, I don't see Portland really being a contender this year.
Oh, no.
So, yeah,
They're going to be ass for a long time.
They sit on their
Doing
picks and they're happy
the
with it.
process.
I mean, it all makes sense. None of that. Nobody in that mix is like, maybe, they want to do this and that. Yeah, of course they would.
See, I think it makes sense, but that just seems so easy. Like, if I can sit there and figure that out this afternoon, like after work, like, why hasn't it already happened?
Well, LA already has enough players that they have an all-star roster that just loves to not play, so Harden would definitely fit in. He might not even have to show up for that trade. He just have to sign with the
Harden
team.
plays games. He may not try his hardest, but he'll play a game.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm well, whatever. I'm
But-
into it. I would love to see Drew Holiday come back here. I would love to see Harden gone.
Yeah,
If that happens, if we lose Harden and get nothing in return, I'd be pissed. But if you get Holiday for Harden, I'm happy.
Yeah, I think everyone involved would be, like, everyone in Philadelphia would be happy with that trade.
Yeah.
Yo, speaking of Harden, did y'all see he threw a party last night? Or I guess 2 nights ago?
Yeah.
And he had people holding up signs that said Daryl Morey is a liar. It's actually pretty funny. As tired of James Harden as I am, I thought that was pretty good.
Maybe it's all some kind of fucked up bit. You know what I mean?
What do you mean? What do you think?
Like a little, maybe they're like just having fun with each other. Who knows? Maybe it's like a little weird kind of sick, cruel game that they like to play. Oh, I hate you. Oh, you're a liar. It's like a bad breakup. No, you. No, you.
Oh, it's definitely a bad breakup, yeah.
But in like a cute, maybe it's like not really a breakup. Maybe they're just like toying with us.
It's probably wishful thinking.
They're into that weird stuff.
They're acting like they're like a middle school couple, essentially, is what you're
like
saying.
when you kick somebody, you're like, I don't really like them, but then you kick them harder, but then it's like, no, they do like each other. Maybe it's like that in a perfect world.
I mean, in some ways, James Harden does clearly have the maturity of like a freshman in high school, so I suppose it's possible.
Come on now.
Yeah. Sending notes.
Yeah.
Or he used to send notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, folds them up, sends them in this
like
cute
you
little
anymore.
envelope. Yeah.
This is over.
But yeah, I guess speaking of Harden, like the one other thing I'll mention as we try to wrap up on this team here. We'll have plenty of them to talk about next week after media day. But I mean, for the longest time, Dame was saying trade me to Miami or don't trade me anywhere. He obviously flexed on his demand and was willing to go to Milwaukee. Is there any chance, like, if the framework for this 3-team trade that I laid out doesn't work, is there any chance Harden flexes on his demand and it's like, you know what, I'll go just about anywhere else, that the Sixers can somehow trade him somewhere else and end up with something of value?
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I think in the offseason, I can understand him being like, yeah, this is the one place I want to go make this happen. But if that doesn't come together, it's like, does he really want to spend half the season being in this weird, uncomfortable situation in Philly, or does he just want to fucking go somewhere? Like, at some point, it's like, I feel like something's got to give, and like you would probably rather just like go somewhere where you can like play and not like, I don't know. I mean, he's a fucking weirdo, so maybe he doesn't really give a shit. Maybe he is content to just do half a season of whatever the fuck this is going to look like. But I mean, seems like at some point, if it's like, okay, option 1 is not going to happen, maybe it's time to move on to option 2, option 3, you know?
I feel like he already tried that bet when he like fired his agent or whatever it was that he did and like tried to do his own thing or like.
I mean, that's how he ended up to Brooklyn and to here.
Test the market and he's not Dame. Like Dame's got some gas in the tank. Guy wants to win. He's got to drive. He's proven that he'll play his hardest out even for a shitty team.
Yeah.
You know, Harden is just too much talk. I feel like he probably bit off more than he can chew with gassing up his game. Like, this isn't the Harden where he used to put up 10 games in a row, 45 points. Like, yeah, great player. I mean, no knock. He will elevate any team that he comes onto, but I think he's kind of lost that bragging right of, like, I'm going to go wherever I want to go now. Like, you tried that shit earlier in the summer. It didn't work. And now you're like, I want to go specifically to LA. And until that deal happens, I don't see him really going anywhere else that makes sense for us, except for what you mentioned earlier about going to LA and giving us, Drew and all that stuff. So I think he's just kind of put himself in a hole. And it's a shame to see. I hope he plays for a good team and gets to the playoffs. I'd love to see him win a ring with us, obviously. But
I don't want to see him win a ring.
With us would be great.
If he wins it with us, sure. If he goes anywhere else, I hope his career sucks like Ben Simmons. But
I don't think that I think he's lost that pedestal to really ask for more. He's been doing that for the last 3 years, and it hasn't worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope that he just flexes on his demand and just realizes this is dumb. If they won't trade me to LA, and if this 3-team trade doesn't work out, trade me somewhere else and just get me off the team, and hopefully the Sixers can get something of value. But regardless, it's going to be a very interesting season. Might be more interesting off the court than on it, but I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Yeah.
You ain't lying.
So I guess we can move on to the Birds.
Yes, sir.
Happier things. 3-0. One of the last, there's 3 undefeated teams still standing. We're one of them. I don't know. What'd you guys make of that game against the Bucs on Monday?
So I thought that was a very encouraging game. Certainly the defense came to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, the defense was balling. The crazy thing, man, at kickoff, they showed the weather. Felt like it was 104 degrees.
They were sweating.
Yeah, but it didn't affect the defense at all.
No.
The interior defensive line, wild. Jordan Davis, I was saying this to you guys when we were sitting out on the stoop before recording. Just watching him whenever they would run up the middle, he just sheds his block and just bear hugs the running back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Every time he did it, I just started cracking up. It's like, damn, this dude's a monster. They don't know how to stop him. They can't run around him.
No.
They can't run through him. They just run into him. He just hugs him.
Yeah.
And that happened at least 3 or 4 times, and each time I laughed. Obviously, Jalen Carter, that bat has me more and more nervous every game.
Only a half a sack, though, so he's only got 1.5 now, but he's
still got
he's on pace
14
for
games.
He's on pace for 13 sacks, though.
Yeah, so I'm nervous about that, but it's a beast in his hometown, basically.
He had 40 people there, he said.
Yeah, and right before he popped that ball out, he said, I looked up, I see my family in the stands. Then the next play, he's like, I saw the running back run up the middle. I knew if he cut back, this might be something. Then he just hooks the ball, dude.
Yeah.
Not even just pops it out, just blow.
Falcon punch.
Made the tackle and popped that ball out.
Yeah, that was wild. And then even my boy, Marlon Tuipulotu, who I remember a pod months ago, I kind of said, he's a bum. Even he showed up and got the first sack of the game.
Yep.
So that interior defensive line was hooping, or balling, wrong sport. Still on basketball. They were balling.
Same mindset.
But, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, it's wild how good the defense has looked through 3 games, because going into the season, we were kind of thinking, considering the losses we had on defense, we knew Carter was going to be good. We didn't really expect him to, totally replace Hargrave's production and then some. We were thinking, this will probably be, an average unit. They'll be good enough, but they're not going to be, as good as last year. And they've been, the strength of the team so far. I mean, the offense has, been fine. The running game's been great, but I think so through 3 games, the defense is the story of the team for sure.
Yeah, I'm happy. I mean, obviously, we're 3-0, so I can't be more elated than that. I think all offseason we kept hearing about Jalen Carter, steal the draft, Jalen Carter, baby Rhino, and all this shit in training camp and stuff like that. But to be a guy that is that young and tested, Jordan Davis came into the league last year and kind of got hurt, but his first 3 weeks again were impressive. We didn't see a whole lot. He was big run stopper. Okay, fine, whatever. That's fine. But it's not the sexy guy. Jalen Carter has been as advertised and some.
He's been better.
It is honestly. It's funny when Dallas got Micah Parsons. I was like, damn, we never get a guy like this. We never get the guy.
We got our guy.
We always get Asante Samuel after 5 years removed, or we get since B-Dog, I should say, since the Jimmy Johnson era of defenses. But Jalen Carter, of all defensive linemen right now, in terms of quarterback pressures, right? The top 4 of them are defensive ends. He's the only one that's a defensive tackle, and he's number 1 in pressures. Number 2. Aaron Donald.
I thought he was up there in hits too.
And hits probably too. Yeah, I don't know if it's across the board from D ends though, but from the defensive front standpoint, he is the number one guy in pressures, which is going against, not for nothing, these,
It was funny,
dude.
like,
He split double teams a couple times.
and we look at the schedule, and at the beginning of the year and the beginning of the podcast, I was like, yeah, we're going like 14-2 or whatever I said, ridiculous number. But you look at what PFF does with the other O-lineman grades, and I'm not gonna lie, New England has had 2 guys on their O-lineman that have been in the top 5 the last 3 weeks in terms of their grade of how being good they are at offensive linemen. Same with Tampa Bay. That's no knock. And you got a rookie out there just manhandling people. I mean, he gets pressure. He had that one, could have been a touchdown to Mike Evans at the back of the end zone, but he jumped up high enough to be able to disrupt that pass. You had that forced fumble. That was a pass that he created the pressure on that play to make
and then he just
Baker
runs
Mayfield
back.
throw the ball off to a dump-off valve, and then made the tackle, which was a forced fumble, on the dump-off guy. Like, the guy has an engine, and he doesn't celebrate yet. He makes a sack or half a sack, gets up, goes off to, like, the guy is, it's fun to watch. And you can see Fletcher Cox feeding off that, and all the other older guys just having a great time now.
Yeah. Like, all the talk about, oh, he's not conditioned. His conditioning's off. He doesn't have drive. He doesn't have work ethic. He's proven all of that to be extremely wrong. Certainly, it is early in the season. Let's see how he looks 15 games in. You know, he's a rookie. He's never played that many games before. Maybe it catches up to him. But right now, I think it just was unpredicted that he was going to be this good this soon. Certainly, you might expect this from him in a year or two. I get it, it's only 3 games in, but homies already are in like a Hall of Fame trajectory.
2 forced fumbles.
Wild.
I mean, it's funny, like, going into the season, it was like, he'll be like probably one of the top 3 like favorites for defensive rookie of the year. It's like he might be defensive player of the year the way he's going right now. Like,
if he keeps it up, he's got a sack and a half right now. Could have been a full sack, but that was a sloppy game. 2 forced fumbles. I mean,
his push on the safety, him and Jordan Davis are really what allowed us to get that safety.
And that gave, Morrow the jump to go to get that safety. I mean, as soon as they got to that 1st and goal, they went for a 4th down, they missed it. I was like, this is a safety. Like, they can't throw the ball. They're going to have to try to run it.
Yeah.
And, Tampa Bay, not for nothing, misses Fournette right now. I'm not saying that they miss him in total, but for shit like that, just to get them out of a jam, they don't have anybody else that can compete with that front. I mean, if you put Jordan Davis, Carter, Cox, and Graham up there,
I think the Eagles played a 5-man front. Milton Williams was in there too.
They played bear. What are you going to do with that shit?
Yeah.
Like, there's so much just manpower up there, and you got a safety like Sidney Brown flying in who can also hit. Morrow played a good game. The defense is definitely carrying the team right now. I think that the offense, for me, watching them play Monday night, I think that was definitely a statement win. I get it that it looked different with 25-11 or whatever it ended up being.
Should have been like that last touchdown was garbage time.
It was 25-3. Mike Evans went off. He got his little fantasy points up, whatever. Had the one-handed catch, which was sick, and a touchdown, whatever. But the defense played lights out, and the offense did what they have to do to win the game. 135 yards to A.J. Brown, which is great to see. But back-to-back games against the Vikings with 200-plus rushing yards, not that big of a deal because they suck at guard and run. But to do it against Tampa Bay, you got Vita Vea up there, a lot of young guys. You got
Levante David and Devin White.
Yeah, there's no joke. They were touted a top 5 run defense, top 3 even. 200-plus yards again.
Yeah, so some of those holes that Swift had to run through was just like crazy.
But what I'll add though is that Swift also has a hell of a lot of talent, man.
Yeah,
because Kenny Gainwell was getting a lot of those same holes, and I like a Kenny Gainwell. Played great in the playoffs for us last year. I think he's a young running back and has bright NFL future ahead, but he was getting the same hole Swift was getting and wasn't doing nearly as much.
A little smaller of a back,
but
you see that.
Also not as fast, not as explosive. Like, Swift sees a hole and he just hits it. There are some, like, the one play where he hurdled the guy.
And stayed on his feet.
Yeah.
If there was nobody ahead of that guy, that'd have been a touchdown. There was another one, too, that he, dipped the one guy. If he didn't get tripped up on someo's fucking elbow.
Oh, yeah. He was
been
gone.
A 70-yard touchdown. Like, there's been instances where, he could have had another 170-yard run. For having 3 carries in the first game, he's still number 2 in the league in rushing yards.
Yeah.
Which is, damn, to go. And the Vikings, I don't understand why they did what they did to give him to us, because they don't use Gibbs anyway. They have arguably a competitive O-line that we do. Their O-line is also stacked with Ragnock and all those
Oh,
other
you mean
guys.
the Lions?
The Lions, I
yeah,
mean.
yeah.
Like, there's no real difference that way. They just didn't use him. So we got him for cheap, and now he's playing lights out. Hurts will have his time. He should have had probably, what do you have, one very interesting passing touchdown to...
Oh, that was a hell of a pass.
Yeah, but, I mean, it was a fucking ass hair away from being a pick. Beautiful drop. I get that. It was a beautiful play.
Yeah,
I
think it was a pinpoint throw. That's why it seemed like it was so close to being picked. I think he knew what he was doing there.
I hope so,
Yeah.
but he hasn't given me the confidence yet this season in his passing game.
Yeah.
But I think that game was the game where I felt like the offense was clicking passing-wise. They just had drop touchdowns. A.J. Brown had 2 drop passes in the end zone
Yeah.
that he should have had.
Goal line.
Had he had that, they'd have been like, oh, yeah, Hurts is back. He had 3 passing touchdowns, 250 yards, no big deal.
And to be fair, the second pick, watching the game in real time, I'm like, yeah, that's an awful decision. It was actually a really good play by the defender.
Yeah.
And that's just like the regression that you were kind of expecting this year. I mean, I was thinking back to that game against Pittsburgh last year. We had those 3 long touchdown passes to A.J. Brown. It's like if one of the backs had made like a that good of a play, like one of those passes easily could have got intercepted. It's like that kind of shit's just going to happen. I'll take that decision 10 times out of 10. Like, we have a chance to throw a touchdown there.
Yeah.
Guy makes a great play. What are you going to do?
It reminded me almost identically to the pass that they had against the Giants on December 12th, whatever it was, against the Giants in the Meadowlands. They threw the ball to Devontae Smith.
Oh, it was a slot fade.
And the guy went to go for the tackle instead of the ball, and Devontae just walked into the end zone. But had that guy made a play on the ball, it probably would have been a pick.
Yeah.
Similar to what happened there, where like he saw the man-to-man, essentially what it was at first, had Devontae open, slung the ball across his chest, had him, but then the safety came in over the top, picked the ball off. Great twinkle toe. Like, you can't... I'd rather have that, which led to the safety anyway. So, like...
Yeah, what did Malcolm Jenkins say in the Super Bowl? That ain't nothing but a good punt.
Exactly. So, like,
that was a really good punt.
Yeah, they get the pick. They're at the 2-yard line. All right, pin your ear back and get his bitch ass. And they did. So, they get the ball right back.
Yeah.
So, as it was reported, Jalen Hurts was shitting his doo-doo ass before the game.
That was this MJ flu game.
Yeah, that's what I said.
You must have got a bad pizza before that game.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's it was a...
Who's getting pizza in Florida? Of course you're going to get bad pizza in Florida.
Just if it's just regular pizza.
Yeah, it's also 101 degrees on the field. Like, they were sweating like a motherfucker down there, too.
Hold up. Speaking of pizza, have y'all had the Wawa pizza?
No.
I didn't realize that was a thing.
No.
You haven't seen the commercials?
4 o'clock.
No.
4 o'clock, they start selling it.
Yeah, I'm finna get that this weekend.
4 p.m.
Yeah, Wawa pizza is probably... Someone was telling me they remember when Wawa used to have pizza and it was okay.
I don't
The fact that it went away and it came back says all I need to know.
I haven't been to a Wawa in forever because they got rid of the one on 20th and Market. I used to get that at work sometimes just because I was lazy
now
and
it's
it was
like
right across the street.
a clothing store now.
What?
20th and Market. I don't think there's anything there yet.
Well, 20th. I'm thinking of
maybe on a different corner.
Thinking right by Jefferson.
I think it's
Oh, you're thinking of the one on Broad?
No, it's still Market, but it's right across the street from Jefferson Station.
Okay, yeah.
Now it's like a Uniqlo.
Oh,
or
I know what
you're
like talking about,
or something like that.
Yeah, the one like I used to go to back in the day was on Broad and Walnut, Broad, and Locust. When I worked at the Barbary, I would go there all the time after a shift at the Barbary. I'd take the train, the L, up to City Hall, go to the Wawa, then just walk down Broad.
Yeah,
that Wawa was a grim place.
That
man.
was not always a good spot to be at.
Yeah,
like I can't be mad at them for not.
They should not sell
having
pizza
that.
there.
Yeah, that Wawa, it's not there anymore. But yeah, the Wawa near me, it's next to Little Sicily too, Indian cheesesteak.
Oh right, yeah. I used to go to that one.
I'll go to that one sometimes. I might have to take a trip up there this weekend and try the pizza out. If I do, I'll report on the pod.
Big time, you got to.
And hopefully it doesn't get me sick like the Florida pizza got Jalen Hurts sick.
Hey, but he still looked pretty good, I will say, out there. I think that it's a culmination of the defense is vibing, they're gelling. Desai has his shit. His crew is locked in. He's got lucky with a great defensive front. Sidney Brown.
Yeah, he made that one play. That was sick. Yeah.
That was nuts. Good to see him out there.
Did get hurt in that game. I don't know.
Yeah, I think a hamstring.
That's all right.
He didn't practice today.
Yeah. It's okay. He'll be fine by Sunday, though. It got sloppy. It was another sloppy game. Good to see that we lead the NFC in turnovers, too, which is... that was a sneaky little snat there, which is great to see.
I mean, that Vikings game, like, we were popping the ball out left and right.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I think that this team is primed for another good run in the season for a win streak standpoint. I think you got Washington coming in.
Washington, Rams.
Two pretty
Jets, and then first real test is obviously going to be the Dolphins.
Yeah, which there's enough time between now and then. Who knows what could happen?
Yeah,
exactly. You know,
that team looks fucking scary.
Yeah, I mean, they put up 70 points. Granted, it's against the butt-ass Broncos, but
still.
They also haven't played anybody. I mean, yeah, they have speed, and that's all they have.
They play the Bills this week, and that'll be a good test.
That'd be a good test, see what they do. If it's a close game, okay, we'll see what's up. But, you know, good for Tua to be back, and maybe he got a new brain and a new skull, and he's good to go, and he's looking okay.
But that has made me think that, like, potential Super Bowl could be Eagles-Dolphins, which would be a really great story. Tua going against Hurts.
That would be great.
I don't really believe in Miami like that yet. I don't think that they've proven themselves at all. I think that it's still the favorite is KC. I don't. People are like, people thought about the Jets before Rodgers went hurt. They were like, oh, here come the Jets. Like, Miami hasn't really done shit yet. Let's see what they do when they play a good team.
Go that far. I think they've showed, like, they're. I mean, I haven't actually, like, sat down and been able to watch any of their games, but, like, you know, everything I'm hearing is that, like, you know, McDaniel has, like, these crazy schemes. I mean, you know, he was coaching under Shanahan.
He's a good coach. He seems like a very good coach.
I believe in him as a coach.
I'm not knocking the team as a good team. I'm just saying, like, I feel like the Super Bowl conversation is a little bit overstretched for a team that's, you know.
I would say I would still favor KC just because it's Mahomes, it's Reed,
what they've done.
Yeah, like, but Miami's usurped certainly Cincinnati.
They're the hottest team.
Like that number 2 seed in the AFC.
They're the hottest team in the NFL right now. Is Miami. I mean, they're fast. They're fun to watch.
They also started last season off to like a great start.
Right.
They were like one of
then Tua was just getting killed.
Well, wait until he meets Jalen Carter, gets ragdolled a couple times. Like, I'm not worried about it that way. But, you know, I think that the Eagles are coming up pretty good. I think that the offense is clicking. Every time I see them, that we watch them, I feel like a piece of the offense comes into fold.
Yeah.
When you need it to.
Like Monday, it was like the A.J. Brown game.
First game, Devontae Smith. Second game, DeAndre Swift. Third game, A.J. Brown. Once all that shit has to click.
Got to get Goddard going.
That's what I was going to say. We got to get a Goddard game in there.
But when you don't need to, I'm okay with that. When you're putting up points and your defense closing out. They had 9 minutes left. They were only up. I mean, at that point, Tampa Bay had just scored a touchdown.
It was still 25-11, but
they were
like,
up by 14, but there was 10 minutes left.
Yeah, I remember saying, like, this game's not over. We need a really strong drive.
They closed out the game.
Yeah, that was wild.
They had a 10-minute fucking drive.
Troy Aikman even said, like, you don't see this anymore.
It's old-fashioned football. They have great defense and a phenomenal run game, which, not for nothing, has been the Eagles' pretty much identity since the beginning of when they were made. I mean, you look back to Buddy Ryan's team, you had Cunningham and all that shit, but they ran the ball. And they had phenomenal defense.
Yeah. You know, other than the T.O. year, even most of McNabb's tenure. Yeah.
It was all Brian Westbrook.
Yeah.
It went from Brian Westbrook to LaShawn McCoy. You know, you had Sanders for a hot second, but
Sanders is nothing
Swift
compared
is looking
to Swift.
Like the guy.
Swift looks way better than Sanders. I don't even want to talk about Miles Sanders.
You build in the trenches.
And it's wild, too, that, like, they haven't even really gotten Swift involved in the passing game yet.
No.
That's his bread and butter. Like,
they threw him their one running back screen. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. Like
they ran a running back screen.
It's like a whole other level that they could get to with him.
And they got 15 yards off that. I mean, as soon as I saw that it was Kelsey and Lane Johnson and him back there, I'm like, this could be a touchdown. They're only at the 25. But also, I will say, shout out, I've been a huge hater on this guy since he came into the Eagles fold, but Covey.
I was going to bring him up. Yep.
Hell of a game for Covey, I will say. I had to be.
He's been good since late last season.
I saw a tweet, like,
I
don't remember who it was from, but, like, he's first in, like, punt return yards. He's first in, I don't even remember all the stats. There were a number of stats.
Or some shit like that.
Yeah, there were a number of stats. He was first in among punt returners. But yardage was one of them. Certainly doesn't have any touchdowns, but like there were times I thought he should have fair caught that he didn't.
He almost dropped
and he's still picking up 10 to 15 yards. I'm like, okay, I can't be mad that he didn't fair catch.
He has been a.
I gotta find this tweet.
Yeah, that definitely. I had to recalibrate and talk that back. Now, he's got to prove it every week for me. I still don't believe in him that way, but I think that that's what helps him play better, is that I don't trust in this guy. Every time he gets that ball and gets hit, I'm like,
that's what he's thinking about when he's about to catch that ball. It's like, I gotta show up for Pat.
He has
I gotta
to.
make a believer.
Nah, man, it's all
He
that.
hears me down. I yelled him at the link all the time. Like, you're a bitch. Like,
It's all that getting bounced around by his girlfriend.
I'm always like, you're a
Y'all
fucking
remember
bitch.
that?
Oh yeah, his girlfriend that's like a foot taller than him.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
She's prepped him for this shit in the NFL, man.
Yeah,
He's
dude.
used to getting tossed around like a rag
2023 in the
doll.
year of the short kings. It's all right.
I
But,
gotta
hey,
find this tweet about him. I was like, damn.
He's also so small though that when he does get hit, I'm like, every time he gets hit, I'm like, oh, this is it. He's done for the season. Like, he's getting rocked left and right. But,
All right. So this tweet, speaking of your boy, I don't know who this guy is. John Gonao. I don't know. So sorry if you're listening to the pod. You probably definitely are not. But Covey, since week 13 of 2022, 291 punt return yards, first in the league. 14.6 punt return average, first in the league. 13 punts of 10 plus yards. 9 punts of 15 plus. 5 of 20 plus. 4 of 25 plus, all first in the league.
damn.
Yeah.
So, like, yes, you've knocked him. I think certainly early last year that was warranted. His performance since week 13, however many games that is, probably including the playoffs, like 8 games or whatever, it's been solid.
Yeah, I mean, I like the kid now. I'm going to talk shit every time he goes back there to catch it, but
Yeah. Keep doing what's working. You know.
yeah,
Gotta-
it ain't gonna broke if
Yeah.
it's not. Ain't gonna whatever it is, whatever the quote. Don't fix it if it's not broken. Whatever it's called.
If it ain't broke, don't fix
yeah,
it.
Yes,
but you know. Anyway, hey,
But-
good to see him out there running around like a little Minnie Mouse, similar to Sproles, but obviously different in a couple different ways. But he's doing his thing, and that's all right. Special teams looking pretty good.
Yeah, so this is the best special teams has looked in the past couple of years.
But I'd rather do what the Eagles are doing. You do enough to win the game, and there's always room for improvement. We didn't come out busting out like Dallas did, like they always do. And, Diggs, terrible injury. That is, you hate to see it, but he's not the whole team. That offense just fucking crumbled.
Well,
It's great to
they
see.
also had Zach Martin and Terrence Steele out on.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not making excuses for him. Like, they should be able to patch that up. Like, they couldn't. And good for us. Good for Johnny Gaines.
Damn.
Yeah.
I wonder how that. What did Dak Prescott say? 10 picks or less this year.
I think that was only his first this year, though.
That's all right. We got a
Was it?
whole long season now. It's
Yeah.
that's
A lot
a,
of games
maybe just broke.
left.
He just broke the ice, baby. It's
That's
over.
true. Yeah, the
It's
floodgates are going to come opening
yeah, it's
now.
just it. Yeah, people see that they start frothing at the mouth.
Kazir White.
Yeah, our boy. Yeah,
Eagle-
how about
Eagle
Johnny
forever,
Gaines,
man.
dude? How about Johnny Gaines?
Yeah. Always love that guy.
They still got Jordan
Yeah,
Hicks over
no.
there too.
Nah, he's on the Vikings.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
man, I wish you picked him.
He
up.
had the
I
pick
liked him.
against us last week.
Love Jordan Hicks.
But, I guess what's cool to me is, it sucks the Eagles haven't played on Sunday the last couple of weeks, but you've kind of gotten to sit back and watch the rest of the NFL. There's a lot of bad teams. There's a lot of
So
really bad
many.
quarterback play, a
Oh,
lot of
dude.
bad defenses. The Eagles what do I have written down here? This is just an approximation. 70% of what they were last year are still a top 3 team in the league, which is wild.
Big
Yeah.
time.
And it bodes well for the future.
I'm pissed that of the 3 teams that are all 3-0, that San Fran is still 3-0, which is mad annoying. But
Come on, Johnny Gaines. He plays them this
they'll
week.
get theirs. They'll play down
Yeah.
to somebody.
They haven't really played. I mean,
No.
they played the Giants. Who else have they had?
Tampa Bay. No. They played the Giants. They played. Who did they play?
The Giants was the big one. Damn, yeah, why can't I remember who else they played?
I don't know. I don't think they've played anyone that good yet, though. But
No, they
whatever.
played the fucking Rams, the Giants.
The Rams game was actually pretty close for a while.
Let's see. They played the Steelers. They blew them out 30-7.
Oh.
The shit
Yeah, they
team.
played
Yeah.
Kenny Pickett.
They played the Rams, which they only won by a touchdown, and they played the fucking Giants. So like now they play the Cardinals. Big whoop. Then they play Dallas.
Oh, that'll be a good game to watch. Yeah.
That should
Someone's
be-
got to lose unless they tie.
That's- I mean, well, if Dallas loses again this week somehow, I would. Nah, fuck them. Fuck Dallas. I would still rather have I don't know. It depends.
No, I would always rather the
If
Cowboys
San Fran's
lose.
Yeah.
undefeated, I would rather have Dallas knock them off. But if San Fran has already lost, then I'm rooting for San Fran. I'm not rooting for San Fran. I just would rather them
Yeah,
win.
I would always rather the Cowboys lose. Just almost any circumstance.
But I think
But-
that we're the most complete team right now, honestly.
We need to get the passing game together, but if we do, then yeah, I would agree with that.
Arguably, I think that it's there. I think that if A.J. Brown had caught those 2 touchdown passes, we'd be sitting on a lot different story in terms of the offensive passing game.
Yeah, but I mean,
that wasn't on Hurts. He had him right there.
It's not on Hurts, but it's still on the passing game. I mean, the receiver is part of the passing game, so.
Yeah, but he didn't have like 65 yards. He had 135 passing, 135 receiving yards. Goddard got involved, and they run for 200. They still had almost 400 yards of offense again.
Yeah.
Against a great defense.
I mean, game script's not always going to allow you to do that, so it's kind of why I want to see the passing game really get in sync. But yeah, to your point, if that does happen, then yeah, we are a very complete team.
I think that the one thing I'll take away from this team from previous years is that, like, when we saw Chip Kelly, even Doug Peterson, where, like, we had an identity and you play to your game and you hope to win, where this team takes what the defense gives them and then they exploit
Yeah,
that.
they can find different
That's
ways
fine.
to win. Yeah.
And then if they need to get 200 passing yards or 300 passing yards, they'll do that. But they haven't needed to. If you can run the ball for 8 yards a run and the old linemen are happy, there's no need to force the pass down the field.
Yeah.
It's fair.
So it's getting pretty late here. We want to real quick give some quick predictions for the Commanders game on Sunday.
Yeah, so the line right now is Eagles minus 8.5. I think by the time game time rolls around, that goes up to Eagles minus 10.
Once that Eagles fan Sunday morning money comes in.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's going to be up to minus 10. But yeah, Sam Howell's ass. He threw 4 picks, got sacked 9 times. Now, I know Buffalo's defense is very good, but ours is just as good. So I think defense dominates. We sack him 6 times, force 3 turnovers. I don't know if it's 2 interceptions and a fumble, an interception and 2 fumbles. I don't know, but I think we win 31-10. The passing game gets it together in the first half. Second half, we just run it down their throats. Josh Harris leaves his booth crying, and he's public enemy number 1 in Philadelphia after this.
Yeah.
I'm liking 34-20.
Damn, you think they're going to score 20 points?
Well, field goals. You get 2 touchdowns, and it's all just a couple of field goals right there.
Oh, I think we're going to smoke them.
I think so too, but I think the way that this team's are playing, they give up a couple garbage. It'll be a garbage touchdown, fourth quarter, they hit fucking somebody down the field, big deal. But 34-20, easy money. I think they put Howell out of the game.
Oh, wow, okay. Trevor, I saw you smile when I said 31-10. Is that like, your prediction?
I was going to say 30-10.
That's fine.
But yeah, that's I think it's going to be a real beatdown. I think our defense is going to have them in prison, and that's just what it's going to be.
Cool. Well,
big dub for the Birds.
Bird gang,
Sunday
baby.
Coming up.
Yeah, we finna be 4-0. I think all of us are feeling that. I'm pretty sure all of us had that when we predicted the schedule. So
yeah, I don't think anyone's
all good so far.
I think after this week it gets a little.
Yeah, this is where we started predicting losses. So we'll see what happens after this. But
this is where I hit my stride.
Yo, for the record, unrelated, the Phillies won the hangover game, 7-6. Bryce Harper hit a go-ahead home run in the 7th.
Damn, well,
he was
sober,
not
our
hungover.
fucking Mormon boy, the
old sober Sally over there hitting the ball. Good for him.
Keeping it locked down. Yeah, so they could. They're
gonna win at least 90 games.
Hell yeah!
Oh yeah.
Good for you, Harper.
Well, with that, just gonna about do it for us here. Please leave us a 5-star rating and review wherever you get your podcast. Give us a follow on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. Subscribe on YouTube. And from all of us here at the Citywide, good morning, good afternoon, good night.
Peace.
See ya.